my father and grandfather were coal miners, became coal miners when the coal industry came in and took over everything. So I'm not a knee-jerk person when it comes to coal mining. But in 1991, Massey Energy moved into the holler where I live at, Marfork Holler. And so they started to mine coal so irresponsibly that every one of my neighbors moved out. Was bought out by the coal industry as they complained. I was the last person out of that holler where I was born at, which is now about 7 miles from where I live now. And what I watched was, and here I was, a waitress, you know, and what I watched was Massey Energy let loose water as black as coal. I watched it flow by my home in a stream that many generations of my family had played in, had drank, had bathed in, had washed clothes in. And so I watched that black water roll down by my home several times. And I'd never seen that before. And all the coal mining I've ever seen before, I've never seen that go by my home before. And I realized that Whitesville's drinking water supply was 3 miles downstream from where they let that water at, from what flows by my home. And I realized that Massey Energy was poisoning the whole town of Whitesville, which included my friends and my family as well. So that hit me pretty hard when I finally realized they're poisoning the whole damn town of Whitesville. And Sylvester and Sane Creek and all the towns that got their drinking water from the Coal River. And then there was the fish kills. And my grandson was 6 years old this summer of 1996. And we always, my daughter, my grandson, and I always went, you go walking in a holler because you feel protected. That's how a holler makes you feel like you've been hugged, because it's tight quarters there. You feel like you're completely covered in green. It's a tunnel of green. That's what it is. So, my grandson got in the stream to play, and what you do is you play in the stream, and then all of a sudden we heard, hey, what's wrong with these fish? So we looked down, and my grandson is standing in a stream full of dead fish everywhere, and his little 6-year-old chubby little hands is full of fish, saying, what's wrong with these fish? And immediately you say, get out of the river, get out of the river, get out, because you don't know what's wrong, what happened. And so that day is the day that every child in America stood in a stream full of dead fish. It just infuriated me. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, because I'd never seen anything like that in my whole life, in that holler. So that's the day things changed. Was that experience with Massey Energy there, the day that I realized it was up close and personal, and that nothing was going to change unless me or someone like me added their voices in unison together. So that's what I did. That day was the day that changed things for me. I think the most ardent local activist is the one that's just been blasted, poisoned, or flooded out. I think people aren't going to speak out very often unless something affects them personally, because the coal industry owns this state. And 95% of the media, 95% of the law enforcement, the politicians, is all owned by the coal industry. The coal industry's been here for 140 years, mining coal, and we're the poorest state in the nation. And when you're sitting here in the coal-producing area of West Virginia or Eastern Kentucky, you're no longer in the United States of America. You're a subject in King Coal's territory, and he's got his foot on our throat and just grinding it down and choking us as hard as he can choke us. And so you lose a lot of freedoms that other Americans have, such as the right to not be blasted, the right to not be poisoned, and to be at least be heard about not wanting to be blasted and poisoned. So basically, coal rules everything. So it's very hard to get local people to speak out unless they've had a revelation of some sort. I think what's plucked at Massey is a combination of all above. I think local activists speaking out, that really hurts them if we can get somebody to listen to us. And we've been able to get people to listen to us because of people that has come from out of state to come in, tour the area, do an article about the area, take the article back out, or come in and take film footage, or do a radio interview or a TV interview, and take that message back to say, hey, look, this is what's going on in West Virginia. You're not going to believe this, but this is what's going on in West Virginia. So I think that is a thing that plucks at Massey. I think the hardest thing for Massey to swallow right now, though, and I think the climax of all this action is basically nonviolent civil disobedience. The seed stock for all of North America started right here in the oldest mountain range in the world, in Appalachia. And that's the reason for all the diversity we have. So it's a biogem. It's a miniature rainforest, in effect. And there are species yet to be defined to science up in the heads of these haulers. Right now, that the thing that grates most, that's hurting Massey Energy and other outlaw coal companies just like Massey Energy, is outside protesters and nonviolent civil disobedience, the tree setters, the people setting on the mountaintop removal sites, people who dare get on their property and who dare chain themselves to their fences, or who dare block a road, or who dare sit on top of a tree to defy them. I think that is really hurting Massey right now. I think that all of America now is paying attention to what's going on. I think all the books, all the magazines, and indeed all the movies is starting to make a huge difference, and to educate America about energy choices and about pollution and about being green and about a sustainable future for our kids. I mean, we told our kids to clean up their rooms, but look at the damn mess we're leaving them to clean up. That's why I think that America is ready to listen to us. All we have to do is speak in a clear, loud voice, but a sane voice. It has to be nonviolence. That's the only way that it'll ever work. So I think we're in the second phase right now. First they laugh at you, then you face violent opposition, and then you win. Right now we're in the violent opposition stage, simply because there is so much nonviolent civil disobedience coming out. We face threats all the time. Threaten to burn your homes down. They threaten to kill you. Bo and I received a threat back in 2005, the first year of Mountain Justice Summer, which is based on Mississippi Freedom Summer. One of our friends that was an activist with us was told to stay away from us because that the miners were planning to kill Bo and I and throw us down a mine break. And a mine break is a crack on top of a mountain where it's been mined, and the mountain separates, and it's probably a 1,000-foot drop. Nobody would ever find you in a mine break. Nobody would ever find you. Larry Gibson's had his dog shot a couple times. They burned his cabin down. Maria Gano's dog has been shot, and they put it in a place where her children would find it. I've had, 2 o'clock in the morning, I've had strip miners and their wives come across the road from my house and scream, F you tree huggers, die tree huggers, doing donuts, just literally harassing and intimidating me. And of course I've actually had violence. I've been smacked, hit at a rally. They threatened to burn my home down too. Word came to me, you better have your cameras on because they're going to burn your house down tonight. So I don't know what morning, I'm going to wake up, maybe my car have a bomb to it, or poison my dogs, or maybe somebody's going to kill my daughter or my grandson. I won't even have my grandson and my daughter in my car with me. I don't want them associated with me. For fear of they're going to run my car off the road. These are narrow roads with 100-foot drop-offs, and the rock cliffs on one side and drop-off on the other side. So there's a lot of intimidation and a lot of violence going on around here. When things get tough and you're tired, you're like, oh man, I need to take a break, maybe a year or two, and it's like, oh, I can't, the phone's ringing now, so. Help us organize some more, send more activists, more nonviolence, civil disobedience. It has to be nonviolent, non-property destruction, and more legal. We need a lot. Of course, with the nonviolent civil disobedience, you got to have more lawyers, and for some reason, we need to get more lawyers involved, to help the activists out, because these local people still rely upon local news, and we could use some help with maybe a few press releases and a few commercials, but yeah, more activists, more help in that way would really help us. Well, I'm going to tell Lisa Jackson to stop mountaintop removal. Basically, the evidence is there. We've given you the evidence. The environmental impact statement has given you all the signs that you need to stop this practice right now. Stand up to Rahm Emanuel, stand up to President Obama, and say, look, guys, people are dying, they're sick, and these mountains are being destroyed, and our water supply is being destroyed. Stop this insanity now.